Right now, inside your kitchen, there are foods sitting quietly on your shelf that will outlive you. They will outlive your car. They will outlive your mortgage. Some of them will outlive your grandchildren. Most people throw them away out of fear, tossing perfectly good survival supplies straight into the trash because a printed date told them to, never questioning whether that date meant anything at all. Grocery stores do not want you to know this. The date printed on the label is not a science. It is not a guarantee of safety. In most cases, it is nothing more than a marketing tool designed to make you buy more often, forever, without ever asking why. Smart people know the truth. And that gap between what you know and what everyone else believes could be the difference between panic and survival when the next crisis finally hits your town. Stay until number 1. Number 11. White rice. Grocery prices keep climbing. Families keep stockpiling the wrong things, filling carts with snacks and drinks that expire in weeks. But white rice, stored properly, does not expire. Sealed in an airtight container away from moisture and oxygen, it can last over 30 years without losing its ability to feed you. No preservatives, no chemicals, no tricks, just pure, dry starch that time itself cannot touch. While other households panic buy expensive freeze-dried survival kits shipped from companies charging hundreds of dollars for a single week of meals, the smart ones are quietly filling 5-gallon buckets with rice that costs less than a single fast food meal. One bucket, properly sealed with an oxygen absorber, can hold enough calories to feed a person for months. But rice alone will not save you, not for long, not without something to season it and preserve everything else around it. The next food on this list has outlasted entire civilizations, sparked trade routes across continents, and armies once went to war over it. Number 10. Salt. Ancient armies paid soldiers in salt. The word salary comes from it. Empires rose and fell over control of it. Why? Because salt never spoils. Not in a year, not in a decade, not ever, under any condition in any climate. It kills bacteria on contact. It preserves meat for months without refrigeration. It preserves your ability to survive when the store shelves finally go empty and preservation becomes a matter of life and death. And yet, most modern kitchens hold barely a few ounces of it, tucked into a small shaker, completely unaware of what they are actually sitting on. A single bag, bought for a few dollars, could preserve hundreds of pounds of meat if the moment ever demanded it. That is a mistake the truly prepared do not make. The next item on this list is even older than salt, sealed inside ancient jars long before written history began, and even more powerful in a real emergency. Number 9. Honey. Archaeologists have pulled sealed jars of honey out of 3,000-year-old Egyptian tombs. Still edible, still sweet, still exactly as useful as the day it was sealed. Honey never spoils because bacteria simply cannot survive inside it, no matter how long it sits. No refrigeration required, no expiration date that means anything at all. Just a jar of golden, concentrated energy that will still be good long after the people watching this video are gone. It may crystallize over time, turning cloudy and thick, but that is not spoilage. A little warm water and gentle heat restores it completely, exactly as it was the day it was sealed. If store shelves ever go bare during a real disruption, honey becomes something close to currency, tradable for almost anything a neighbor might have to offer. But sugar, sitting in the very next cabinet over in almost every kitchen in America, holds a secret almost nobody talks about on camera. Number 8. Sugar. Like salt, sugar draws moisture out of anything that tries to grow inside it. Bacteria cannot survive, Mold cannot take hold, fungus has nowhere to feed. Properly sealed sugar lasts indefinitely, and it remains one of the cheapest, most stable calorie sources you can store in bulk. While inflation quietly eats away at your paycheck every single month, a 5-pound bag of sugar sitting untouched in your cabinet is quietly holding its value in a way your bank account simply cannot match. It converts directly into fast, usable energy, something that matters far more than most people realize when work becomes physical and calories become scarce. But the next item on this list is something almost every household throws away by pure mistake, out of fear rather than fact. Number 7. Pure vanilla extract. That small brown bottle in the back of your cabinet is nearly 50% alcohol by volume. That alcohol content acts as a natural, powerful preservative. Properly sealed pure vanilla extract does not go bad, ever, under normal storage. It may darken slightly over the years, it may thicken, but it remains completely safe and usable for years, even decades, beyond any date printed on the label by the manufacturer. Most people toss it out purely because a date told them to, out of fear rather than fact, throwing away a small bottle worth real money for no reason at all. Smart people know the difference, and they keep pouring from the same bottle for years. And speaking of alcohol, the next entry on this list might be the single most overlooked survival item sitting in your entire home right now, hiding in plain sight on a shelf most people only glance at during the holidays. Number 6. Hard liquor. Vodka, whiskey, rum. High-proof spirits simply do not spoil, ever, under any circumstance. The alcohol content alone prevents bacterial growth from ever taking hold inside a sealed bottle. In a real crisis, hard liquor becomes far more than a comfort or a luxury. It becomes a disinfectant for wounds. It becomes a barter item worth more than cash. It becomes a fire starter, a cleaning solvent, a bartering tool with a dozen uses that have nothing to do with drinking at all. While anxious shoppers load their carts with bottled water that will eventually need to be rotated and replaced, the truly prepared quietly know that a sealed bottle of 80-proof spirit will outlast almost everything else sitting in the house. But none of this matters if you cannot actually cook a meal. That is exactly where number 5 comes in. Number 5. Dried beans. Kept dry and sealed away from oxygen, moisture, and pests, dried beans can remain fully viable for decades, sitting quietly on a shelf, needing nothing but a cool, dark place. They are protein. They are fiber. They are survival in its most basic, most complete, and most affordable form. They are the food that quietly fed entire generations through wars, through depressions, through famines, while the people who ignored them went hungry and desperate. A single 5-gallon bucket of dried beans can mean the difference between a full pantry and an empty one when supply chains finally break down under pressure. Combined with rice, beans form a complete protein, the exact formula that has kept entire nations fed through decades of hardship. And supply chains are already showing visible cracks across the country, cracks that grow wider with every passing month. The next item on this list is one you probably already own, sitting in plain sight in your kitchen right now, and you had absolutely no idea how powerful it truly was, or how long it could last you. Number 4. Cornstarch. It thickens sauces, it settles an upset stomach, and it lasts almost forever when kept dry and sealed away from humidity. No bacteria can grow in it. No mold can take hold. No breakdown happens over time. Just a quiet, overlooked pantry staple that smart households never allow themselves to run out of because they understand what it represents. Most people walk right past it in the grocery store without a second glance, treating it as an afterthought rather than a genuine long-term asset. The ones who actually understand real food security never do, and they stock several boxes at a time while it is cheap. But the next food on this list is something entire nations, entire relief organizations, and entire militaries depend on to keep infants alive during disasters and shortages alike. Number 3. Powdered milk. Properly sealed and stored in a cool, dry, dark place, powdered milk can remain safe and nutritious for 25 years or longer. It is calcium. It is protein. It is the difference between malnutrition and survival for a child when fresh dairy suddenly disappears from store shelves during a crisis. Relief agencies and disaster response teams stockpile it by the literal ton for exactly this reason, because they have seen firsthand what happens to a population when it is not available. Smart households quietly do the same thing, without waiting for a headline or a shortage to force their hand. The next entry on this list fuels far more than your body. It fuels your mind, your focus, and your will to keep functioning when everything else around you feels like it is falling apart at once.
Number 2. Instant coffee. When the world feels unstable, routine is what keeps people functioning day to day. Instant coffee, sealed properly and kept dry, can last for decades without ever truly spoiling in any meaningful way. It may lose a small amount of flavor over time, but it remains completely safe and usable, far beyond any date printed on the jar. In a genuine crisis, a simple cup of coffee stops being a small luxury. It becomes morale. It becomes a piece of normalcy in an abnormal world, a small ritual that reminds people they are still human. It becomes a reason to get up and keep going one more day, even when nothing else around them feels stable. And now, finally, the last food on this list, the one everything else has been building toward, but one that has fed humanity for over 10,000 years, and the one almost nobody alive today actually stores correctly.
Number 1. Wheat berries. Whole, unprocessed wheat kernels, sealed properly away from oxygen, light, and moisture, can remain fully viable for over 30 years without losing their nutritional value. Not just edible after all that time, viable, meaning they can still sprout, still grow, still become something new. You can grind them into fresh flour the exact day you need it, as if the grain were harvested that very morning, decades after it was first sealed away. Entire civilizations were built on the back of this single grain. Empires rose to power because they mastered how to store it properly for the long term. Empires collapsed when they forgot that lesson and let their reserves run dry at the exact wrong moment with no way to recover in time. Most people alive today have absolutely no idea this food sits quietly within their reach, patiently waiting, at a fraction of the cost of almost anything else on a store shelf. This is the pattern smart people understand, and everyone else continues to ignore, month after month, year after year, always assuming tomorrow will look exactly like today. Prices will keep rising. Shelves will keep thinning out during the next disruption, whatever form it takes. And when that moment finally arrives, the people who quietly stocked salt, sugar, honey, rice, beans, and wheat will not be standing in a panicked crowd fighting over the last loaf of bread on an empty shelf. They will already be prepared, calm, and ready, standing quietly in their own kitchen while everyone around them scrambles through empty parking lots and empty aisles for answers that came far too late to matter. The foods on this list are not expensive. They are not rare. They are not hidden in some secret survival store online. They are sitting on ordinary shelves in ordinary stores right now, today, waiting quietly for someone smart enough to understand their real value before everyone else finally figures it out, when it is already too late to matter. The choice, right now, in this quiet moment,